Yeah, hi. Good morning. Okay, let me start by let me first start sharing my screen here. Okay. So yesterday where we left it, let's get back to the OneNote thing. So we were discussing about the Linux directory structure. And the important files and folders. Okay, so we have till now connected using SSH in Linux. And let me open up my console first. So here we have connected using MobaXterm earlier. But you can also connect to your server using the SSH command, using your command prompt, or so if you're using a Mac computer, the process will be similar to what I'm going to do now. Let me show that to you, but let me first obviously start the server, because if it is in an off state, obviously the system has to be switched on first. So right now the EC2 instance is in a stop state. So let me start it. Right. Now this is the MobaXterm software, but apart from this, you also have, if you search in Windows, in Mac or in other Linux operating systems, you will have something called terminal that is inbuilt in them. So now here, I'm opening something similar to terminal. Its Windows counterpart is like, you can just type in CMD, that is the command prompt, and then you can run it as an administrator. Select yes. Okay, so this is your Windows screen. This black terminal now that you are seeing, this is my Windows system. Okay, that is why it says the path, and then this is the DOS prompt, actually, the blinking cursor. So now if you have to do SSH, let us see if SSH is even installed here or not. So yeah, if it is giving something like this, that means SSH is installed. So how do you do a SSH to this remote server is, let me actually open up the page here. I'll show that SSH thing first, and then we will start discussing the commands further. So this is what we were discussing, Linux directory structure. And I also discussed certain OS basics. Okay. Day 4. Let us go to day 5. Okay, it is up and running. And now, so this is not your Linux board. Okay, this is your ordinary Windows terminal, command prompt, or you can say. Okay, so you just type SSH and then -i. -i is a flag for the SSH utility, wherein it will show you, you are telling the SSH utility that if I'm typing -i, after that, whatever path I am giving, search for the PEM key file in this path. And where is our, so now you have to give the path of your PEM key file. Okay. Now, one important thing you should notice is it is in my download folder and it is generic.pem. So downloads, it is not giving me the path directly here. Or what I can do, I need the path. It is actually a lengthy path. So I can right click here and click on properties. And then this is the path. C users, admin1 downloads. Okay, I will right click and copy this. And here I will just do, okay, right click, for some reason, not, I have to use Control C to copy it. It does not exactly like it. Because usually a right click should have sufficed. Yes, there you go. But after downloads, then also I have to give the actual name, that is generic.pem. So what I'm doing is on my keyboard, I'm pressing Control C, right click. And I mean, like when I tried to do right click and copy, that did not work. Okay, so similarly here, I'm pressing Control C to copy and then give the slash. So the orientation of the slash compared to Linux and Windows is opposite. Here you are using backslash. In Linux, you will always use // and then generic.pem. So after -i, you have to give the complete path of your PEM file, where exactly it is placed. And then you have to give the username of the system to which you are wanting to connect to. So that is EC2-user separator @ is the separator, the public IP, the host name, username @ host name. That is the format. So I copied the public IP. Let us go back. Oops, sorry. Oh, I just have to minimize this. My bad. Right click. Okay, so see the format of the command here. SSH is the utility. You are doing a secure shell connection. And then this utility has got a flag, -i. How, when you write command line, in command line, when you use the utilities or commands like SSH or and all the other commands, the flag after the utility name or the command name, like we will use -i, -f. There are multiple. It varies. Use case to use case, it varies. The usage of the utility modifies the behavior of the command. Okay, so the same command will do something different when you use a different utility, different flag. So this -i is telling that, telling the SSH command that the user is going to give a path to use, and SSH should use this specific PEM key file to connect to the remote system. This part is the remote system. Okay, the remote system will always have these, should have these two components, the username @ the host name, so that you can connect. Okay, and then you just press enter. Oops. Okay, for some reason. Okay, so now it took some time, but it was not responding actually. So yeah, the fingerprint thing will come up. Just type yes here, because this is the first time it is identifying this public IP. And if you see, Here you are connected now. Till this time, it was your Windows system. Okay, so this was your DOS prompt. After the SSH connection, now it is EC2 user at the public IP. This is from here on, it is not, now this terminal is, this is called a shell. Okay, this is no longer your Windows terminal. This is your remote host somewhere in some data center in Mumbai. I'm in Hyderabad, thousands of miles away in the cloud. This on this IP, this system you are connecting called Linux practice. Okay. So this is how you can connect, but this is also a connection. But instead of that, I have showed you this same process you will be using in a Mac, or if you are connecting from a Linux system. Okay, Linux to Linux also, you will connect, you will use this same method. Now, in Windows, let me show you one more thing. There is also from Windows 10 onwards, and in 11 also, you will have something called Windows PowerShell. Not this x86 ISE, these are different things. I'm talking about Windows PowerShell. Click on this, and then, or you can just search for Windows PowerShell and right click and run as administrator. You click on yes. Okay, so this is a different. This is even more, that is why here in the beginning it says PS. That means PowerShell. This is even a more powerful, more advanced version of Windows command prompt. Okay, so in terms of command line interface, Windows was not meant for command line interface from the beginning. Having said that, there are other server editions of Windows. They are called Windows Server operating systems. They are, however, they have a greater command line interface usage, but still Windows is mainly GUI based. So it is actually trying to keep up with Linux. That is why this thing you will see later on in like Docker and stuff while installing Docker container software. So if you go to, if you open, so what I did, okay, let me actually tell you. So I pressed Windows and R. That will open up the run box. Okay. And here, there is a shortcut. And here I'm typing appwiz.cpl. appwiz.cpl. Okay. If you can't see it, it is appwiz or z.cpl. And then you press OK. That is a shortcut to open programs and features. Inside that, if you click on turn Windows features on or off, you don't have to do this. Okay, I'm just showing you. Another additional Windows features box will open up. So what I'm trying to show you here is Windows has lagged behind in the command line interface world, and you will realize that command line interface, once you start using it, command line interface, although little bit difficult to adapt to and use in the beginning, it is way more powerful than graphical user interface. Okay, with a certain lengthy command line, you can affect multiple servers, multiple files and folders at the same time, which using graphical user interface, it would have taken a lot of time. So if you check this, because Windows was primarily designed for graphical user interface, it is now trying to keep up with Linux, wherein here, if you see, there is something called, there should be Windows Subsystem for Linux, WSL. Okay. So don't touch these things. They are like hypervisor platform, and but this is a topic for later discussion. But you have to actually enable this, and Windows will then download, and then it will make it more user friendly for using Linux commands. So earlier I showed you like how you can connect to this terminal using. So what I have done is I've literally highlighted this entire command using. So this kind of command, when you are using to connect, that time .ppk format will not work. Only .pem file, .pem format will work. Okay, so I have highlighted this and I will just do a right click. That will sort of automatically copy the entire line. Control C will not work. And I will simply do a right click. Oh, come on. Somehow it does not. Okay. Different shells have different behaviors actually. Usually highlighting, now it has copied. So in DOS prompt, I had to press Control C. So if I press enter here again, I will still be able to connect. Okay, so if you see now, this has connected to EC2 user at IP address. So from this blinking cursor here, it is no longer the Windows system. It is no longer PowerShell. This is Linux shell from this line here. Okay, so so from here I can type who am I can type these commands. So don't go by the back. So for people who are new to command line interface, don't go by the background color. Don't be fooled by that. So if I type who am I command here and press enter, okay, so it is telling EC2 user. Although it is the same, it is looking like it is the same background, but it is not. This one now is your Linux terminal here once I logged in. Okay, obviously you can see last login date and time and the little bit features of the Amazon Linux version is showing here. Okay, so let me press Control D. Now the reason why, then you can ask me, then why did we install MobaXterm? Why we installed MobaXterm is because this utility is way more powerful. We can actually do file transfers from Windows to MobaXterm. And also here, you don't have to worry about PEM key and what is the other one? PPK key. Okay. So maybe if you have downloaded the PPK format, then you can use MobaXterm. It does not, MobaXterm actually adapts itself. It does not have any problem with that. But if you are going to connect using PowerShell or command line interface, then you will definitely need the PEM key. The PPK thing will not work, EC2-user. So now, the other way of connecting is actually PuTTY. Let me show that also, because PuTTY is a very popular software. The reason being MobaXterm, as you can see at the bottom, it is saying, please support MobaXterm by subscribing. So it is like, I think $30 or something. So they are allowing you to use it for free. More or less, you have all the functionalities here. But then these sessions and all that, usually as for Linux administration, like you will be connecting to up to 50 servers. Okay, or maybe you will be administering 100 servers. Maybe you will not be logged into all the 100 servers at the same time. But then like staying connected to 9-10 servers is very common. Okay, so during that time, I mean, like every time if you have to do SSH and then connect, rather than that, you can, I mean, like, see, if you see here, you can bookmark your sessions here and identify them. So this feature is not available in, like, it is available, I think, up to, I think, 10 or 15 servers. Okay. You just right click and you connect, execute or something like that, connect as some user. And then it allows you very easy access. And apart from that, if you see, it is actually also colorful. These colors will later on help you identify command lines, and it will make it easier for you to do troubleshooting. Okay. But compared to that, in PowerShell and all this, it will be completely white color. Okay, it is, I mean, like when, like if your script has got 50 lines of code, then it will be very difficult to identify where you have, identify the line, because it will be a bland white color. So if I have started this, let me also show you. The final thing remaining is putty. Now, so putty you don't have to install. Putty you can just search. This is the link. Download putty. This is why putty is so popular. It is actually a like download and run. You don't have to install anything. This is this kind of where you can download and directly start using the executable file. These kind of installations are called portable install. Okay, so let me just click on download putty here. It will actually from putty.org, it will take you to this 𝐒𝐷.greenand.org.uk, this SG Tatham. So this is actually one person who is maintaining this site. Okay, but nevertheless, it is highly popular. Now here you will have multiple. You also have the installer versions, by the way. You can do the installations, or you can directly use the, so this one putty.exe. Okay, these are not the installation versions. If you like, if I just, so I have got a 64-bit system and it is Intel based. So that is why I should use x86. Okay, and also if you have got an AMD processor, then also you should use x86. If you have got a 32-bit system, then you should download this version, 32-bit x86. Okay, now I will be, can anybody tell me like what is the problem I'm going to face with putty now? So whatever, so let me actually go through the installer version and then let me click on this. So as you can see, it's so quickly downloaded, nearly 3.5 megabytes. And this is the installer version. I'm downloading both to show you. First, I will not install and I will download the putty.exe portable version also. And do you see, it is like, let me open the folders. So see here, this is the installer version for install, and this is the portable version. So I can directly start using putty without any installation. Okay, so directly it has popped up. Now, can anybody tell me like what is the problem here I'm going to face? Like I have connected using MobaXterm, using PowerShell, using command in CMD. 3 different things I've used. All of them are using SSH client. Putty will also be using SSH client in the background. So what is the problem I'm going to face here now?
PAM file is not supported in putty.
Correct. Then I do not have the putty supports only .ppk file. In fact, .ppk means putty private key. So how do I connect then? Now, for that reason, I will have to get rid of this, and you will have to go through the installer of the suite of softwares that putty will install now. Okay, it will install multiple things. So that is why it is a pretty handy software. So let me do entire feature will be installed, and let me click on install. So as you can see, it is nearly 1/10 the size of MobaXterm. MobaXterm was like around 30 megabytes. This is hardly 3.5 megabytes. Right. So now what happened, as you can see, there is a shortcut. Here also during the installation phase, this putty thing came up. Okay. But there are other features also from putty which got installed. So if I check my Windows apps here, there is something called Pagent, PTF. All these multiple tools have got installed. PuttyGen, Pagent. Okay. So you can use PuttyGen here. So putty key generator. Now using, this is one of the utilities. This can convert your .pem file into a .ppk file. Okay. Now if I check, if I show you my downloads folder, I already have my PEM file, right? I already have my PEM file and I want to use putty to connect. Okay. Or maybe it is not just for putty. If you want to do a file transfer, there is another software called FileZilla. File transfer in the sense when you are trying to transfer file from a Windows system to Linux system. Okay. These are handy tools which are usually required. So this is FileZilla. Okay. So I will come to this FileZilla later on. But the point here I'm trying to make is if you want to use FileZilla client to transfer your files from from your Windows terminal, Windows system to your to a Linux system, like in this case, our EC2 instance, then also you will require .ppk, not .pem. Okay. So using this putty key generator, we can convert our .pem file into a .ppk file. So let us do that. So do not click on generate. That will create a key pair. Okay. We are not generating a key pair. We will load because we already have it in our system. So navigate to where it is there. It is there in my downloads folder. And here, change the drop-down value from ppk to all files. As soon as you do that, you will be able to view the generic.pem. So click on that generic.pem, click on open. So now it has successfully imported the existing PEM key file. If you get this message, then you have done it correctly. And then click on OK. And then save private key, because the PPK file is also, so now you can save this. You have loaded the file. Now you can save it. Don't change anything else here. It is, as I told you, like these are the other algorithms for encryption. So right now we are using RSA. Okay, so let's not get into this. And this one is important. This is the bit strength of the encryption. Okay, so this is a 2048 bit encrypted key value. Okay, the higher this value, 2048 in itself is a very high value. Okay, it will take you around, like, if all the computers in the world combined together, if they try to crack this encryption, it will take them 300 million years, literally, if they do a brute force attack. Okay. So now to save it, you can click on save private key. Yeah, one thing I forgot to tell you, like the higher this encryption value, the more, the stronger the encryption actually is. So this one is for generic use, but military grade encryption is like 4096 level. It's double the encryption here. Okay, so are you sure you want to? So I've clicked on save private key here. Okay, I would rather not confuse you with further details here. Our objective, okay, just to recap, we are trying to connect using putty. Now we don't have the .ppk format of the private key file. The connecting system always requires a private key file. So I do not have the correct format for putty. So, but I have the .pem format. I'm converting it. So now I clicked on save. I loaded the .pem key and then I'm converting it now by clicking on save private key. So you have the option of save public key and save private key. So it is pointless to save the public key because the connecting server requires the private key. The public key is already stored in your EC2 instance. By that I mean this your EC2 instance. Okay. So let us go back here and click on yes. Oh, sorry. No. Let me do that again. Click on save private key, and then you are going to get a box here. Are you sure you want to save this without a passphrase? So basically, your private key is a secure thing. Okay, just like your credit card and your checkbook, it is a secure thing. Your wallet, you should keep it securely. It is a private thing. So you can add a further level of security by adding a password to it. But usually we do not do that because again, you are dependent on a password. And if you forget, then, so that this passphrase that it is saying, Are you sure you want to save this key without a passphrase? I will just select yes. So basically I'm saying I don't want another additional password. If I click on no, then it will have, then I will have to put in a password. That is to, before I can access this key. So I will just click yes, I do not want a password. And then I'll go to download. And now it is, if you, the name that I have to use to save it has to match with the name here that is there for this server. Okay, so let me actually click on this link and open it in a complete page. Okay, so if you check your EC2 instance details, you will get the key pair value. Okay, so it is generic. So I should use the same name here. So let me just copy this, go back to putty keygen, and let me type generic. And that's it. So the save as type, now you have got .ppk. Okay, so if you check my downloads folder, ignore this. So here you have generic.pem only. Now, as soon as I click on save, this will be generic.ppk. And that's it. There is nothing else you need to do. You can close putty key generator now. And so see, this file is now generic, right? Right click on it and check on properties. So this is generic.ppk. Make sense? .ppk. So using this file now, I can log in to my server using putty. Let's quickly do that. So click on putty. Now here again, as I told you earlier, that see, basically that same thing which I have done. This command, SSH, give the file path of the file along with the file, and then log in to the remote user. So username EC2 user at the host name. Host name is your public IP. If you are within the same network, you can connect using a private IP also. But I am using it, I'm trying to connect to the remote server over the internet. I'm not in the same network. Okay. And when I say same network, I am actually referring to this network. This, where is the VPC? This VPC. Okay. So this is a virtual private cloud network. Because I am connecting from outside this network, I cannot use the private IP. Private IPs only work within the network. I am outside, it is actually still loading, but I'm using this particular VPC. For some reason, the page is taking a little bit longer. The web services are taking time to load in Mumbai region. So this is the VPC, active VPC, which is being used by this EC2 instance. These are the details. Okay. It has got its own network block with that is called a CIDR block. And this is how it is connected. This is the map. So if you are within the network, then you can use the private IP. If you are outside the network, then you have to use public IP. So my Windows system is outside the VPC. That is why I'm going to use the public IP. So username at hostname, right? I will copy it. So that same thing in putty, I am also doing exactly the same thing. You are giving the username at hostname. The port number, do not change it. SSH connections. Port numbers are sort of, consider it like this. This is another important concept here. You should know. So, better give you an analogy. I'll need some diagrams. Let me fire up my browser. Let me come to that later on. So this port number concept I will give you shortly. But let me complete the thing here. So you have given the port number. SSH connections always work on port number 22. So don't change anything here. This SSH button should be clicked. SSH, serial, telnet, these are different things. Okay. So our connection type is SSH, which means secure shell. And then you have to go into this plus sign. You have to enlarge this SSH. And under that, you have auth. That stands for authentication. And then if you scroll down, scroll here, there you have credentials. Okay. So basically here you will have to browse the path and tell PuTTY to use which key you want to, where is the path of your key. So now I will navigate to my downloads folder and the PPK file is present here. Okay. So generic.ppk. I'm not using the .pem here. Okay. Do not confuse. It is PPK format file which I'm using. PuTTY only understands that. So once I've given this, I've given that path. And then if I click on open, again, you accept that. And using PuTTY, you are connected. Now with this, as you can see, the font size is very small. And if I have to change, so in 𝐿WPLabs, I can, to change the font size, I can simply press the control button and then use my mouse scroll wheel to make it smaller or larger. And that is something you have to, quite often you have to keep doing in Linux, because if your log file, if you're checking some log file, there are lengthy commands, then it will overflow on the right hand side. And then you will have to make it smaller so that you can see the entire output. But in PuTTY, if you're using PuTTY, you cannot use, like, to change the font size, you have to right click at the top, go to change settings, and click on appearance. And then from here, click on change. And then change the font size from 10 to 16. And then click OK. And then apply. And then, and everything will be with this blank white color. Okay. When you are, as I said earlier, when you are reading hundreds of lines of code or output values on your screen, if everything is in white color, it will be very difficult to identify. So that is the reason. So you have actually learned, see, right now, if you see my screen, I'm connected to the same instance using 𝐿WPLabs, using CMD terminal, using PowerShell terminal, and then finally using PuTTY. So these are the multiple ways you can connect. I have connected with PuTTY. I have connected using .ppk format file. And in the rest of them, obviously, I have used using the .pem key. And if you are connecting from a Mac system or a Linux system, you will use the .pem format to connect. Any questions, guys, for me? Till, I mean, relevant to whatever I have taught till now. Okay, I'll take that as a no. So we are good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these. I will use it on 𝐿WPLabs. Let's get rid of this command line. And this is PowerShell. Right. Control L to clear the screen. And finally, let me show you this FileZilla thing is also there. This is for transferring files. If you want to transfer files from your Windows system to your Linux remote server, okay, Windows to Linux, then go to this link, FileZillaProject.org. Let me actually give these links to you. So this is for FileZilla. Later on, these notes will actually help you quickly identify which part of the project you are in. This one is for the FileZilla thing, and the other one was for your PuTTY. Let me see if this one directly opens. I'm just checking the veracity of the link. Yeah, This link is okay. This is a secure link. You don't need to worry. I got to this link from putty.org. I'm like I navigated via putty.org, but
Understood.
excuse me.
Okay.
Okay, I'll mute you. Guys, I'll request you, since the meeting thing is getting recorded. Unless you have a question or you want to say something, please stay on mute. So this is the putty link. And this is for, oops. Just Windows D. There you go. So you might want to do the either the portable version or the install version. Okay, both will work. There you go. Okay, so now let's deal with the FileZilla thing also. Let me show you how you can use FileZilla. So where is it? Let me go back to FileZilla. Get rid of this. So the FileZilla thing, don't go for the server. You go for the client because you want it in your local system. Click on this and then, so again, choose your option. So for Mac, this X stands for Mac and then other Linux systems, but I'm going to use Windows 64-bit x86. So I'll just click on download FileZilla client. And don't choose the FileZilla with manual. I think this is like $100 or $500 additionally they will charge, and not the pro version also. Just choose FileZilla, this simple thing we need. Let's see. Okay, 12.2 MB, taking a bit longer than expected. Looks like it is done. Let me go and refresh the downloads page. Yeah. So this is your FileZilla setup. Let's install it. Is this install? Yes. Oh, why is it? Okay. Table content fine. License agreement. I agree. Loading data. Install Opera. Decline. This is actually trying to, because it is a free version, it is trying to promote its own browser. So Opera is a different browser. Just click on decline here, right? I only want FileZilla. Click on next. Anyone who uses this computer, only for me admin, let it be only for me admin. Click on next. Fine. Let's get the desktop icon also. Click on next. The path where you're going to install. Unless you know what you are doing, don't change the default settings. That should be a thumb rule for any generic installation. Okay, so let's see if the soft link is working, a hyperlink is working or not. Click on FileZilla. So for even for using putty, for using FileZilla, you need .ppk format. There you go. Free open source. Is it? Welcome to FileZilla. Okay. So this is the only one-time thing you will get this pop-up. I thought it was like asking for a update. So this is what your interface will look like. It has got two sections. The left-hand panel here is, before connecting, I'm giving you the idea. We will have to connect anyways. You'll have to give further details. The object here is to do file transfer. From your left-hand side is your Windows panel, and the right-hand side will be your remote Linux system. In our case, our EC2 instance. Okay, but before that, you will have to connect. And you have to do, like, because we want to do a file, secure file transfer. So you go to file, go to site manager. Okay. You just can't put it in your host name here. You have to define your connection first. Then go to new site. And usually here you should type in your EC2 So to identify, because there will be multiple systems, usually you should do it something like this, like copy that entire name here so that it is easily identifiable. Go here. No, let us see. Yeah, I know. Double left click on it and press Ctrl V. Okay. So I can change the name of my server here, Linux practice, but I can make it Linux practice 1 or XYZ, whatever. But this part will never change. Okay. This is the EC2 Amazon resource name, ARN value. For this server, that will not change. So by mistake, if you create another server with the same name, it will not stop you. Okay. But this ARN value will help you uniquely identify which server you are connecting to. So now here the protocol that you have to use, this is no longer SSH, okay? This is going to be file transfer. So simply using file transfer protocol will not allow connection. You have to use something called SFTP. So file transfer protocol using secure connection method. So that is SFTP, secure file transfer protocol, or SSH file transfer protocol. Here host means your public IP. And then Control V, and port will be again 22. Okay. Logon type, here in the drop down, you have to use key file because you have a key file. User happens to be EC2-user, the name of the user. And then browse for the PPK format file. So by default, it is always going to documents. So this generic PPK. Click on open. And then I will click on connect. But before that, I have to, I want to transfer some file, right? So I have to create something. So let me just do a new notepad here. Text file. Okay. Transfer.txt. And let me put in some poem or something I'm putting in here that I will actually have to show you. Okay, so I'm just looking for some content. I don't want to type. Oh, sorry, not David Frost, Robert Frost. Foundation. Give me a second. Let me just copy something here. Okay, did not get the poem I was looking for, but let me just copy this thing and put it in the notepad. The notepad name is, so this is the content of the file, transfer.txt. Why is there a star at the beginning? Maybe that was a typo. Control S. Okay, so fine. There it is saved now. Okay. So this file, transfer.txt, with its content, this thing, whatever is there here, is present in my Windows system in the downloads folder. So now using FileZilla, I'm going to connect to this EC2 instance and I'm going to transfer this file. Okay, I've given the protocol. It should be secure SSH file transfer protocol, SFTP, or secure file transfer protocol. I've given the host name, defined it on the port 22. Port I will discuss later on. And the key file, the logon type, and the username of the system. Okay. I'm not logging in as root. I'm logging in as EC2 user. With root, anyways, it will not allow you to connect. And then just click on connect. Yeah, okay, fine. Save passwords. Okay, fine. And then anyways, it is not a password connection. So as you can see, it has started connecting. And directory listing of EC2 user successful. So now if you see here on the right hand side, your EC2 instance is connected. It is showing you the path. By default, whenever you log into a Linux terminal, the user to which you have logged in this case, EC2-user, it will you can use some other user also. Okay. We can create users and then we can specify if we want to log in as that user. Whichever user you are selecting, it will by default take you to the home directory of that user which you have chosen, which you have defined. So here, as you can see, it is showing, it has logged into this root home slash EC2 user. So parallelly, I will check in MobaXterm. So to list out the files, you can use LL command, okay, and press enter. So it is showing nothing, although in FileZilla, I'm in that same path. So this is like a graphical user interface. It is showing there are certain files here and folder also. There is a .ssh, .bash, .bash logout, .bash history profile, .bash rc. So in Linux, anything which starts with a dot is actually a hidden file. In Windows, if you know, for example, if you want to view, let me open like system32. Okay. And in Windows, if you usually it will not show you the hidden files. Okay. If you want to see hidden files, you have to go to view and then check this box. Okay. Only then it will show you the hidden files. So right now I'm already in Windows System 32, but if I go to Windows, there will be lots of files and folders. So see, like elam backup, this is a hidden file. Okay. The system does not want you to see this unnecessarily, or you might. So if I uncheck this box, the hidden files or folders will not be visible. Similarly, in Linux, also, because this is in the GUI mode, it is showing the hidden files and folders. But in the command line interface mode, anything with dot is a hidden file. So in Linux, it is called dot file. Okay. So if you want to see the hidden files, you have to use some switch. Again, the same command. LL stands for long listing. Okay. LL-A. -A is the switch for viewing hidden files. Now, if I press enter again, now you will see the list of those files here. Okay. This is how you see the files, hidden files. But anyways, our file is not going to be hidden. So now let me, so from, it is very simple from here. On the left-hand side, you should navigate to the path where your, so left-hand panel is Windows panel, okay? Right-hand is your remote Linux panel, to which, so I'm already connected to that server securely now using the PPK file authentication, okay? Now I just want to transfer my file. So where did I save it? Let me see. I think I put it in the downloads folder. So this transfer.txt file, this simple file I want to transfer, and it is present in my downloads directory. So I'll go open FileZilla, go to the Windows panel, scroll up. Let's minimize this. Usually, okay. So it is not showing me the, so basically I have to give the entire path. And if I just, it is not showing me the path also. So what I will do is, to fetch the path, I will just right click on the file, click on properties, and I will copy this. There you go. Copy, go to FileZilla, click on this top part here, and just press Ctrl B. Press enter. So now I'm in my downloads. So so the top portion is the folder portion, and inside downloads there are the files which are present. So here I have got transfer.txt file. All I need to do is just drag and drop it here. Okay. So as you can see, it did certain things here. It connected, retrieving the list, and then no. So if you see successful transfers, it has successfully transferred. So that means this transfer.txt file should be present in your EC2 instance also. Okay. So let us quickly check that. So earlier when I did LL-A, it was showing this list of files. So if I do that, so in Linux, there is one shortcut. Like if you want to, you don't like repeatedly, there are some certain commands you will have to type repeatedly. Okay. So what you can do is simply click the up arrow keys. Then the last command which you had used. Okay. So I have to click on this once and then it will work. And the last command that you had used, it will automatically come up. Okay. For some reason, it is not taking it. No, it took it. See, LL-A, I did not type it using the up arrow keys and also the down arrow keys. After multiple commands, it will show you. And if I press enter, so now if you see, so I think while naming the file, I made it transfer text.text. So multiple times that .text extension came up. I should have only named it as transfer. Okay, Windows additionally added the .txt file. But anyways, for Linux, it does not matter. So what I will do is Control L, clear the screen, and I will just do LL. This is not a hidden file. So it will show you the file. That file got transferred. This is your Linux system from your Windows system to your Linux system. This is how you can use FileZilla. But the same thing I can do from using 𝐿WPLabs also. Okay, but then these tools are very popular. So 𝐿WPLabs is not something which is which may be allowed in organizations. But for the purpose of your learning, I would suggest you to use 𝐿WPLabs. I have given you the hands-on like how to use the other tools because it is very easy to use. Okay, let us not focus on. Let us make it a little bit easier. The font size change, the color background and all that it makes it a lot easier to troubleshoot and debug issues. So I have my file here. The last thing that I will show you, how do I read the contents? Like in the graphical user interface, all I did was I just have to double left click and it is opening up the notepad editor here, right? So how do I read? This is the content of the file. How do I read this in a command line interface environment? So for that, you have to use a command called cat, C-A-T. It is a short for concatenate. Okay. And then give the name of the file. So in this case, see what I'm going to do here. I've got multiple ways I can use. Either I can simply highlight this by dragging. So what I did was my left mouse button was pressed and then I highlighted it. I did not leave it. I dragged it over this entire thing and it highlighted the name. Okay. In your terminal window, whenever you highlight something, it automatically gets copied. Now, when I say terminal, I'm referring to this 𝐿WPLabs EC2 instance terminal. Do not confuse it with the CMD or PowerShell terminals. Okay. And the moment I have highlighted it, it automatically got copied. So if I just do a right click of my mouse, it will paste the value. So either I can open the file like this. This is one way. You give the entire path, or if you are in the, so see, what is my present working directory? Of course, root home EC2 user, right? So wherever that file is, you navigate to that path. Okay. And then type cat, and then I will only give the first letter. Okay. T, and then I will press tab. It will pick up the rest of the name automatically. There are these multiple shortcuts in Linux that you will need to know. Okay. So cat will only show you the content of the file. So if I press enter now, the content of the file has come up here. Okay. Let's press enter multiple times. This is how you can see the content of the file. But what if you want to edit? Cat is not an editor. It will only show the content of the file. And that too, if this file would have been like 1,000 lines long, that would have made it very difficult to use it. You can't change anything here. You can only read. This is the same content which was present here, right? Any questions till this part? Actually, I will let it go here. Let me do one thing. Let me type history. History will give you the list of the commands which I have used till now on this system for EC2 user. So so I just highlighted it. It has got copied. And this is the way we are going to learn, like all the commands. At the end, I will simply add it into my notes here. Okay, there was not much here. because most of the time I spent on installation and stuff. Yeah. When the DevOps class will start, okay, you need to know, I think another 1 or 2 more classes. So, Gururaj, you are saying day 5, we are still in basics. So yeah, you cannot jump the, there is a course glide path I'm following here. So you will kindly have to keep the patience, Gururaj.
Yes, yes. See, my question was like in the modules which you mentioned, right? Like it was not
that
mentioned.
has no, the day 1 of the module has not yet started. This is the prerequisite week.
Okay.
Answers your question. Okay.
Yeah, I thought we'll spend more time on those DevOps things.
No, it is, see, once so we are still on first gear. From neutral, I've just put it in first gear. Moment I put it into the next gear, pretty soon this is going to become complicated. And when you say DevOps, you are already started using the tools here. DevOps is not using only one tool. It is a collection of many tools and using certain principles. It is a culture. Don't forget this. You are already into DevOps. Okay, so right now, even this OneNote file that I'm using, I can share it with multiple people. Okay, so that is part of collaboration. Collaboration is also a very important part of DevOps. So DevOps, more or less, we will we will start that. Don't worry. First, you need to learn how to connect. Now, you are already aware of these things, but you will have to keep the patience because there are people who are completely new to this thing. Okay, so they also need to do this hands-on. That is why I'm teaching these things in and out. Right. What else question is there? Today is the last day to. Okay, so that is DevOps. Yeah, difference between DOS and PowerShell. Okay, so this question is more of a Windows thing. Both are command line interfaces. DOS is the previous version of Windows. PowerShell is the more advanced version. So maybe you want to ask this question on Google. This is not relevant to my course. This is a Windows related question. Okay, but your simple answer is, this is Amit who is asking. When we will start module? Well, today, from Monday. And when you say when we will start module 2, that's a very specific question. Once we complete module 1, so that might take a couple of days, but I think 3-4 days, maybe, before the end of the next week. Okay. Any other question? Otherwise, I will wrap up the session today. We have crossed our time limit here. I'll just give it one more minute. Do you have a course structure? Okay, Prudvi. You are.
Yeah, this is my first class.
Yeah, that is why you are asking this question. So, are you? Have you joined the WhatsApp group?
Yeah.
Don't worry. Emmanuel, admin team, can you kindly take care of this? I've shared the links there. Now I will not post it again. You are part of the WhatsApp group, right? So we
It'll
will
be fine if you post it again.
Yes, I'll post it right away.
There is an admin team which takes care of it. Don't worry, you'll get that post structure.
All right.
That answers you. Can you please share with us what day, what we will be learning, the glide path? Okay, we will share that with you. We are basically asking for the glide path, Manam, I think. Don't worry. Okay. So if there is nothing else, then I will wrap up now. This is the final call. For people who are new, I mean, like in the Zoom chat, the link for the WhatsApp group is posted. Kindly copy and paste it and add it now, because as soon as this meeting is ended, this link will disappear. Right. Let's wrap up. Thank you all for joining. Let's. What is the day today? I think it is Friday. Let me